Greetings, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. Welcome to anyway. um, so I was going to go into a little bit of the presidential situation. So I felt a couple of things. Nothing's clear. First off, absolutely nothing. Um, I felt it's possibly the military might get involved. I feel like they're talking. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Usually those things don't happen. Um, Like they'll resolve it through the courts and the military most likely. We'll have a military president. That would be quite interesting if they did that. Not likely, but I believe it's on the cards. Like a military president would come in until they get this resolved. Probably not going to happen, but that would be really weird. Yeah, until they get the courts and everything figured out, but not likely. The other one is with the electoral college that the Republicans are going to fight that, or most likely that's going to happen, and most likely Trump's going to win. But we'll just have to see. Who knows? But or whatever you'll call it as a win. So yeah, they can detest the electoral college and say it was a fraud and or that was stolen and everything. So and then it goes through Congress, and I don't know if it goes to it probably goes to the courts, but it goes through Congress also. So we'll see. So and that is on the 14th. Or before that, we'll see. Who knows? Right. It's frustrating, but anyway. And it is a big deal. It is CIA stuff going on. No doubt. Anybody that says otherwise don't know what they're talking about. This CIA is all over it. I have no doubts about it. So anyway. Okay, we're going to go into reptilian channeling, or actually, I'm going to do a Sirian. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring in Redmond again. Go into reptilian. What a reptilian matrix looks like. What does it feel like? I think we have an idea of that, but give it a different point of view, and then say what a Sirian matrix is like. Also, I guess you could do a Palladian. But we can only do so many. We'll just see what comes up with that. And the Tree of Life. So that one just came out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, that works. So, all right. Trying to think. Okay. I'm not sure if there's anything else. There's probably something else, but I'm not thinking what it was. So I haven't started a comment private sessions. I have the scheduler. Or at a channel, Google Hangouts, Zoom, and chatting by phone. Shop here. I'm at the 19th. Same situation here. The webinar sign up. Social network. Rabbit. I have the new comic here. This is, I think it's working everywhere. It's on Amazon also. It's black and white. And it's a new series, and we have behind the scenes. So, have your support. Okay. All right. All right. Blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. This is Redmond. Blessings to you from Sirius B. Greetings to your society. Yes, we're not going to go into Sirius B too much. One day we'll see. Seems like that is a topic that some might want to have some idea of, or maybe some already have a detail of it in some other channelings, but it might be a possibility of us going into that detail. But for now, your reptilian matrix, as you are living, yes, in at this time, as yes, there's always a type of king of some sort or dictator, but not always. But due to control. Of course, they can have realities too, where the control is through the family, as you're experiencing now, to a certain degree. As family is not exactly an easy experience for many. Well, because that's where the growth comes from. That's where the teachings. They wanted to militarize you. Of course, there's different reptilian groups, obviously. But also, reptilian groups are also known to be not necessarily dark. Obviously, there's several different types. But it's usually a world that has a lot of water, normally, like a swamp. And a desert, depending, but usually it's a swamp environment. Swamp worlds is normally what they enjoy. Living among the trees that do talk. I mean, they don't normally talk, but trees that do make sounds, trees that where their senses can connect to very easily. And your world has pieces of that here. So swampland is a place of download from a reptilian energy, you can say. Well, I realize going to a swamp is not exactly easy, and a jungle isn't either. Swamps are worse. Of course, it depends on what's in your jungle, of course. But mostly it's the swamps that are more difficult to survive in. So the reptilian is like a reptilian heaven for some. A lot of reptilians do live in the trees. Of course, they have their full facilities. They live underground, whatever it might be. They have the homes themselves also. So what pertains to your world is basically a government, reptilian government. It's pretty much what you're experiencing today. Now, there's a lot of Andromedan energies in your current government, and of course, other beings. There is a lot of Venus. The Venus beings aren't here as strong as they used to be. They're on the outside of government, but they are within. So, of course, your reality for your bringing in children is much different than a reptilian world, of course. They don't have what you have here. Yes, normally they do lay eggs, normally. Or they do incubators, they do DNA, similar to the Greys. But usually just take DNA and make your baby, basically. But with your current environments, that's where you're very feline in that regard on this planet. As for bringing children into the earth, we're not telling you anything you don't know at this time, of course. Reptilian energies, of course, are also part of the density level here. Why it's so dense. Reptilians know how to turn up the volume and keep you away from what is happening here. Now, you're living in two different realities. As some of you know, there's a dense reality called your physical. There's also a spiritual reality that you are tapping into. That's where your aliens are roaming around at this time. You can call it whatever you want, but they're right outside your frequency, as you know, just a hair away. Of course, it's just enough we don't see them, but they're very close. So, as you become more aware of this, you'll feel their energy. Of course, they keep you out of their reality for right now, but as the dial begins to shift, you'll see them more clear. I mean, there's possibility where they shifted dimensions so much where you can see crowds of alien beings through your third eye, but just to see something like that, it's like I saw it through my third eye, but I know they're right there. So there's that too. There's also some beings that do have like not exactly stores in this reality, like we could buy things, but they do have facilities where they can get things. I know it sounds a little bit strange, like why would they need that? But there are places where they can get whatever they need. Let's put it that way. It's not exactly a store as you would call it, but it is a facility where they get the items that is necessary. Not all beings have access to it either. Yes. Maybe we're talking about too much, but as you go into your awakening, you might feel that there's a alien presence, meaning like that's one of their hubs where they get information from. You can call it a base if you want to call it something. So that's one way to give it a name. So, and they can be above, their bases are above ground too. They're not all underground, and they're not necessarily around governments either. Some of them are in forests. Some of them are very easy to access, but you're in a different dimension, so you're not going to see it. You can just walk right through it, basically. So, like you go to a place, it's like, wow, nature is so beautiful, but I don't feel good about going over there. That shows you there's something there, obviously. So obviously they don't want to make themselves too known here, but it gives you an idea of how things work. So reptilian energies, yes, they're part of why you don't see what you'd like to see. They're the guardians. Now, other beings they're part of it too, but it's mostly a reptilian matrix that you're in overall. There's a lot of politics that goes into it. But us speaking about it shows that they are willing to allow more information about themselves to be revealed. Not there's much you can do about it, but for future reference, unlocking the door into the other realms is becoming more likely. We're not going to say you're going to walk into that realm and see a bunch of aliens instantly, but that side of the world is going to start thinning out over time. And once again, we don't have a time frame for that. But we're giving you the genetics of how things work at this time. Also, to go into a Sirian matrix reality, in some ways is more dense, as Sirians are backstabbing. Some of them are, not all of them. But it can be, and this is where reptilians learned a lot. You say about what you want about reptilians, at least they get along with each other. Sirians do not always get along with each other, which your world inherited. So the bickering among families, stress among family, just stress. Yeah, that's a Sirian way. Now, not all Sirians are like this, obviously, but Sirians are known for also domestic violence, too. Of course, reptilians are also, but they don't call it that. They just call it love or checking you out. But for their race, it's quite different. But our race is very similar to yours. They are mimicking a lot of our energies. So as you heal, we heal. So some of you come in this world with domestic difficulties. Many of you are here to go through it, but also to heal it. And then when you go back into source, you go back to where, like some that are very violent, some of them come from Sirius. But they come here, get thrown in jail, heal from that, go back into source, go back to the world they came from. They're a changed person. So not to say that Sirius is all war and beating each other up, but we have a lot of difficulties there. Well, we're very connected to you. We have a lot to deal with. We have a lot to heal. There's a lot of positive sides of Sirius, of course, but once again, we're the ones that teach others. I mean, like your world is teaching, we taught your world a lot of things. Of course, you inherited a lot of our difficulties, but we're welcomed here because we're causing a lot of trouble in the universe also. Similar to your reptilians. Sirians are a little bit more difficult to get to know, to find. Reptilians aren't that hard. Now, hard-headed, yes, but Sirians are cloaked. They're hidden. Just like you have in your world, when you have somebody that's causing a problem, they're hidden. It's like you look at a person like, oh, they're okay. Then you find out they're an abuser. Sirians is the same way. So that gives you more of an understanding of how serious Sirians are. Why we are like this, because we took on a lot of karma from other alien beings. A lot of them are from Orion. We just deal with a lot of things from all different species. But we also have like some of the most beautiful worlds and some of the most difficult ones. So yes, we are not that much different than your planet. But this world, we have learned a lot where a lot of our domestic violence on our worlds have actually become lighter. It's still difficult, but we're improving greatly due to this world. And realize these are fourth dimensional worlds. Some are third dimension, but a lot of them are fourth dimension. Fourth dimensional violence is difficult. Now, also, your felines have difficulties too, of course, in Lyra, actually. But as for Sirian energy, so Sirians can create a gridlock, a matrix is more difficult than yours that you're living in today. Meaning that a channel like this wouldn't even be possible. You'll have to have an alien invasion. I mean, literally have an alien invasion to make a difference, because they will not allow a spiritual connection to come through. Now, other Sirian worlds are okay, but not all. Some are completely shut down. We wouldn't call it a prison reality, but it's kind of like that, yes. But it's kind of like a utopia or a dystopian reality where they're controlling minds. So at least you're getting some idea of the Sirian way. Well, look at your Arab world that's very connected to Sirius. Not all of Sirius is Arabic, but quite a bit of it is. And you see the difficulties of the Arab world. You see the corruptions that goes on. A lot of that happens on Sirius also. Once again, we were invaded by other beings that did whatever they wanted. Some of them were Martian too. So, as I say, Assyrians are innocent in all of this? No. But some of them became galactic pirates. So once again, a Sirian matrix can be paradise, but it can also be one of the most difficult worlds you've ever been to, where you don't have freedoms at all. If you want freedom to go outside, like you're going through here a little bit, like if you want to go outside, you have to tell somebody. And for how long exactly? There are worlds like that too. That many of you are here to heal that. Some of those that cause those planets to be that controlled are here rehabilitating at this time to how to go in there and shake things up to heal it in one way or another, to rebel against the system. So a lot of your founding fathers of the United States are Sirian. Why they have the knowledge that they have. Of course, everyone has their own point of view of that, but like the Declaration of Independence, a lot of the laws here were made from Sirius, actually. As we have seen things worse in this world. And that's why the education of the founders are so much different than what you have today. So, what you have today, yes, is more of a reptilian, once again, matrix infiltration at this time. But there is obviously a lot of Sirian energies going through your governments. A lot of your spy energies comes from Sirius. Not all of them, once again, but a lot of it is spies. Yeah, that's when it gets a little bit diverse to different beings, but we'll give you some detail of our lineage. And Sirian worlds also, Sirian worlds are also where beings weren't for combat. They learned how to heal worlds like this also. So you can go to a Palladian world to learn so much, but you go to a Sirius world and you really learn how these worlds work. How this one's been taken. There is a carrion energy, the bird beings here, that, yes, they stay silent, but they are causing a lot of mind control difficulties here. But for the most part, they're out of the way. They don't like to get their hands dirty. But as for Sirius, a lot of souls here are going through depression. A lot of that is Sirian connected. Sirius's worlds were, almost like hell planets, yes, where the souls are just not healing. It's just one difficulty after the other, just one problem after the other, just non-stop problem. And once again, you have that here in your Arab countries. Yemen is a good example of a Sirian world. Wars that are hidden and secret. So this world has a positive and negative, but the positive side is that They're allowing, first off, us to speak like this. Also, giving you the choice to what decides, because usually the state decides of who thinks what. And if you don't think what you want, you go more into a closed environment, so you decide to change your mind. Meaning all your nice things get taken away if you don't do what you're told. So, once again, those are more authoritarian realities. And some of you are not going to have memories of those places for obvious reasons. You don't want to remember it. But you are here to heal that energy, though. One moment. So that gives you kind of an idea, not a complete idea. Oh, yes, a lot of your assassins come from Sirius, too, if you want to go into more of that detail. But also the positive side of Sirius is world, yes, where you have people that are, fit well, health-wise is perfect practically. Their minds are like Einstein to a certain degree where you can just remember and see things. And it's also a place of worlds of humor. There's also duck planets there. We have a little bit of everything. So, but usually the oceans, worlds is where things get complicated. The ocean can be a paradise, can also be the opposite of that. So that's another reason why we have the difficulties that we do. The ocean has a lot of spells within it. So, and your world has a lot of oceans, so it's connected to our energies. So you say we're always linked up. So this world is here to solve a lot of our problems. A lot of you are from Sirius to solve some ego problems, which many have. You have political problems. That's not necessarily a serious problem, but there is Sirian connections, but it's more of an Orion problem. But it goes, that's not important at this time. So mental health is part of Sirius. A lot of tall beings, around 12 feet tall or taller in Sirius. Jungle worlds, but they're very positive ones. They're just more alive. You feel like you're in paradise. Yes, you can fly through the trees and everything, and just feel the energies of the trees and the ocean. You have nothing to worry about. There are plenty of Sirian worlds that are just like that, just paradise worlds where you can just live there forever, 1,000 years if you want to. When you get to more of the alien beings when they get to 1,000 years, they start falling apart. That's more of a military reality that's connected to your world. Well, not all beings are here. There are worlds where you can live. In Sirius, you can be an immortal. So, give you more of an idea of where some of that comes from. A lot of your magic comes from Sirius, too. Yes, your pyramids, your Egyptian, a lot of Egyptian worlds that look like a lot of Sirian worlds that are Egyptian. And Anunnaki joined into that too themselves. So in Egyptian worlds where the whole world is Egyptian for thousands and thousands of years. The whole world has hieroglyphs and all kinds of different things. It's pretty exciting. It's also worlds where it's Egyptian and has dinosaurs there too. Give you another idea of what those worlds are like. But once again, you're here to unlock those places. That's what you're here for. You're here to heal the darkness from those other worlds that I've mentioned. You're here to go into more of a lighter state of mind. Because alien energies, yes, can technically instantly happen at any time. It doesn't have to be in the future. It can happen now. So it just hasn't happened for obvious reasons because humans are not awake to all this, but still does not mean you're not going to have any interaction. Plays like this, us speaking, is warming up the waters for interaction. Of course, there's others also that are speaking too. As you are getting close to that disclosure energy once again, it's just seeing how humans react at this time. Of course, if most of your population was connecting to our energies and talking about it, it'd be much easier. Yeah, if you had thousands or millions of people that really took this seriously, millions upon millions, our energies would appear in the sky. You'll see little sight, you know, lights in the skies. You'll see things, like you saw in your, was it your Phoenix lights? You'll see something like that, possibly on a daily basis. You'll see Earth changes, but in a positive way. Things will just get more lighter as humanity just wants to know more about itself. And just, it's just asking the question and just curious. Without war, of course, there's going to be a discussion that everybody's going to agree with each other, but just allows more of our energies to connect with you. Because we're ignored and look the other way, and society obviously keeps us out due to the denseness of this reality, what physicality has to teach you. We are outside at this time. But we are knocking on the door at this moment, as you can see. And more of that become more part of your society. So, in your intention, the idea for this is to help others to open up to your own abilities, basically. And to get more, downloads when the time's right. Some are arguing they don't get a download. Well, there's a lot of talents they're not always recognizing. That's usually how it works. I want this, but I already have that, but I don't want that. I want something else. That's pretty common. So there's a lot of growth that's still going on for that. So blessings to you. The Tree of Life is here to bring a message to you all. Blessings. Greetings to you. We are the Tree of Life. What you are learning within yourselves, is a discipline, a great discipline of where your world is going. Yes, you're learning a lot of the flaws of your alien friends too, as some of them are aggressive, as humans are too. Well, aggressiveness in the society lives quite often, impatience. That is basically patience is key to your survival. And this is a patient world, but still a lot of alien beings that incarnate here are not very patient. If you have somebody that's like, if you're patient and you have a child that's super impatient, like, oh, I have an alien child now. My kid's an alien. He wants everything now. So, but they're used to that. They're used to that reality. So many of you, that's why you incarnate here on this planet so many times. So you can take in an alien child or whatever it might be, or a relative or whatever it is, to help them heal. Some beings need to slow down. And this world is perfect at slowing down. Some of you feel like you're going crazy because it's so slow. But it's necessary for growth, as growth takes a long time. And you have beings from your universe, alien beings, that just have everything so instantly, so quick. It's like a drug. So they incarnate here, yes, they feel like they're going insane. So why'd you bring me in this insane asylum? I want everything now. So yes, there's a lot of deep healing. That's a deep energy to heal. And some aren't really looking at that point of view, because yes, they want their aliens to come and assist humanity, but they feel like, oh, patience. But the more that you just go with the flow, the more things happen, but some don't agree with that, of course. So as an alien being, many beings want things now, and still, that is a vicious thing to heal, as some of you know. As they want the aliens to appear, but it's not always beneficial for the collective for aliens to show up at this time, because the collective is still going through a lot, as you can see. As they're self-reflecting. The collective is going through a major manipulation going on your planet, as you can see. And it has to find a way to snap out of that first for any alien being to fully, on a worldwide, to come in. Doesn't mean that you're not on that trail. But humanity is under a hypnosis, not just from the physical reality, but also from a media reality. The media reality is like a whole nother matrix all in itself. And to break free from that, it's like taking a baby and telling it to get a job or drive a car, and it can't even touch it can't even reach the to go anywhere. It can't reach the pedals. It's kind of like that, but people don't see it that way. But that's kind of what's happening. Society is still growing. Some of you have grown spiritually, but it's for you to learn from the rest of the world. Because if you want things now, like your aliens to come through, and humanity's not ready for it, there's a lot of internal healing that has to be done. Now, yes, you talk about alien disclosure. Of course they do. Because it is on the eve of it. Of course, that eve can be a long time. But why they are here to speak to you is to speed things up. This is all about speeding it up. It's all about taking you to the next level. That's what everything's about. The new earth energy is opening up the doors. The new earth is technically here, but it's not in its perfection zone just yet, because they have a collective of human that's still going through the lessons of the third dimension, which is deception, which is on a level that some aren't quite understanding. Actually, a lot of deception comes from a lot of it's coming from insectoid energies. So those insects come from Orion. That shows you how deceptive as they are, because they have the voodoo over the planet. At least quite a few. Now Europe has broke free of a lot of that because they've been through all that already. So they protest and that's their way of release. The United States still has a lot to learn. It's going through what other countries have been through 100 times and plus. The French Revolution, you say that was the end of all of that for Europe, basically. Of course, there's other controls, but a lot of people aren't taking it anymore, as you can see. The United States is slowly waking up for it. It's still in its slumber. It's still in the cradle, technically, not understanding the full manipulation that's going on. So, but when you take away the nice things, people start to change your perception, and that's what's happening at this point. So, but yes, you are here in a timeline shift, as you can see. And not everything's going to be clear, not at all. When you have a major timeline shift, it's like living in a hurricane. You always don't know where it's going to go. It's going to go wherever, or earthquake for that matter. You hear the rumblings, but you don't know where it's going to hit. That's pretty much what's happening now. The unknown, of course, the spirit world knows, but you as human, you're here to sign up for not knowing. You can speculate all you want, but the unknown is always going to be there. Blessings.